Let me go across to our panelists. Joining us today, Aarti Tikoo Singh. She is a senior journalist. There's also NK Sood, who's joining us, a former RAW officer. There's Lokesh Jindal, a Congress leader as well. Aarti Tikoo, I'm going to come to you first because you have been saying again and again that what has been done in the past, this is one of the greatest betrayals to the Kashmiri Hindus. You've tweeted about it yesterday as well. You just heard Mr. AS Dulat here speaking exclusively to Times Now. He says that the name of the game is intelligence and you guys just won't get it. Aarti Tikoo, how do you respond to that?
Well, to begin with, I must say that hats off to Mr. Dulat that he continues to defend the indefensible. If the name of the game is intelligence, then the proof of the pudding is in its eating. And we know that in the last 2 years, ever since insurgency broke out in Kashmir, Islamist jihad became a common feature across the valley. We know that this person's strategy, this person's policy, this game that he calls, intelligence, it failed miserably. The cost of gathering this intelligence has been so enormous that we still do not understand the cost that was paid by an entire community of Kashmiri Pandits who were ethnically cleansed from Kashmir. The loss of territory, the loss of narrative, the loss of people, the loss of property, the loss of, economy, and the amount of money that the government of India pushed into Kashmir to retrieve the space, the land, the narrative. But all of it failed. So I don't know what he has actually achieved, why he continues to brag that, he actually, all this happened and this facilitated the nullification of 370. It is nonsense. The fact is, the policy was changed in 2019. Had it been left to Mr. Dulat, or had it been left to all the policy makers who who believed in Mr. Dulat's game, which is so-called intelligence he was gathering, we would not have been able to revoke 370.
So you are saying it is not because of this policy of intelligence, but it is despite the policy of intelligence that this happened. NK Sood, you must explain, because Mr. Dulat was saying that anyone who's in the intelligence industry will understand as to why these things need to be done, as he calls it. Mainstreaming of terror needed to be done to get Jammu and Kashmir to a state where Article 370 could have abrogated. Was it because of or was it despite of that policy?
Actually, I support Mr. Dulat as far as he says that we should pay to the terrorists, pay to the separatists who are working against India. Our policy or intelligence policy is that when we pay somebody, we purchase him. We purchase him to work for us rather than continue to work for Pakistan. But in Dulat's case, it was not there. Separatists were not doing anything for India. Other than they were being paid by India, they were acting against India, killing Indians, killing Hindus, particularly in Kashmir. Kashmiri Hindus were being killed. And this Mr. Dulat, he was brought into RAW. He was actually from IB. He destroyed RAW. Before that, Morarji Desai, he damaged RAW. After that, he damaged RAW. Yeah, because I see, you see, he was a RAW chief. He was a RAW chief. He was brought into RAW. He did not know how the RAW works. RAW is not like IB. IB's working is different. RAW's working is totally different. It is like a person who is running a bus and he is asked to fly a plane. As you can say, in Army General, he is given the task of maintaining the Navy. What he will do? Mr. Dulat, he played a negative role in RAW. There are a lot of things that happened when Mr. Dulat came into RAW. Kargil happened. They say it was intelligence failure. I think conduct an inquiry whether it was intelligence failure or there was a conspiracy. When Mr. Dulat was, after that Mr. Dulat, he was looking after Kargil, he was promoted as RAW chief. When Mr. Dulat was RAW chief,
why did he keep getting promoted? What is this that you're telling us? Why was he being promoted if all his policies were failing?
I told you there was a conspiracy, and this conspiracy
By
was
whom?
against Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Because Atal Bihari Vajpayee was a good person.
Okay.
He believed in the persons who were close to him, and I must say, his NSA, Brijesh Mishra. He is there. Farooq Abdullah was always there. When the Kashmiris were being killed in Kashmir, Farooq Abdullah was the chief minister. Then Mr. Dulat was also posted over there. What did they do? They made it possible when Jagmohan was there. It was the conspiracy of the Abdullah, Muftis, and I must say some intelligence people.
That's a huge charge being made by N.K. Sood. He himself is a former RAW officer. He's not just said, and this is important for me to point out, he's not said not just has AS Dulat failed in protecting the interests of India, but he is the one who had destroyed RAW, and he said he was part of a larger conspiracy against Atal Bihari Vajpayee. These are the allegations being made by N.K. Sood. So let me go across to our next guest as well. Lokesh Jindal is also joining us. Congress, of course, this entire controversy has been kicked up after Mr. A.K. Dulat was part of Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra. We just heard one of the former RAW officers coming out and saying that this man destroyed RAW. He was brought in from ID, destroyed RAW. He also said he was paying these separatists. So they were paid by India, but they worked against India. One of the strongest indictments coming in from a man who's sharing stage with your leader.
Mr. N.K. Sood was the one who stated that Sushant Singh Rajput was indeed murdered. And he claimed that there is a huge gang and a terrorist act behind this incident. And secondly, everybody knows that he has written a book.
Mr. Jindal, are we speaking about Mr. N.K. Sood? If he was part of Bharat Jodo, we may have asked.
I do not believe in the credibility of this person.
Mr. Jindal, we are not talking about the credibility of N.K. Sood. We are talking about AS Dulat.
Without any form of a neutrality to it. Secondly, when I'm talking about the statement given by Mr. A.S. Dulat, when he says that there were payments being made, so let me tell you, in 1999, when Makoka Act was introduced, at that point of time, the Mumbai police also had a Khabri network. And this Khabri network was used for getting some information, and some payment was done in the lieu of that information that was given.
Right.
And it enables that agency so as to act proactively and bust the entire network. That is how the drug trafficking in Mumbai was
Which N.K. Sood has agreed with you? Which N.K. Sood has agreed with you? He said, yes, they are there, but these people who were paid by India were working against India, is what N.K. Sood has said, Mr. Jindal.
The functioning of such agencies is to gather as much of information as it can, bring about some form of analysis to it, and thereby create a roadmap. And then then that this particular agency, it works in coherence with
Lokesh Jindal, we are running out of time. I have a quick question. Hopefully, I'll get a straight answer from you, N.K. Jindal. Lokesh Jindal, sorry. Straight question. Do you think in retrospect, we've seen what has happened after Mr. Dulat has exited office. Do you think his policy of paying off separatists helped the people of Kashmir, the Hindus, the Muslims, everyone who lived in Kashmir? Do you think it helped them? Did it end terror? Did it end separatism? Yes?
His functioning was so as to get as much information as possible, and
did it help the people of Kashmir?
It enabled the agencies to act proactively.
Did it help people of Kashmir?
Compared to what was happening a decade ago in 1990s.
See, you're not giving me a straight answer. Unfortunately, we're completely out of time. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.